Black-eyed kids are a phenomenon that has been told mouth to mouth for decades, but supposed encounters have been reported more and more frequently since the 1990s. These reports point to the appearance of children between 6 and 16 years old who insist on entering your house or your vehicle and who seem to have a permanent sensation of nervousness or panic. They have become one of the most popular urban legends and, above all, with the most presumed witnesses of recent history. Many believe that there is a paranormal origin in these creatures, in these extremely pale-skinned boys with completely black eyes. The reports come not only from the people who know and can know the legend. There are even constant police reports in cities such as London, the suburban area of Chicago, and New York, where it is reported that they walk along the paths through the streets at night or on the porches and entrances of houses at dawn. It must be remembered that, unlike the custom in many areas of Latin America, in those places most of the patios of the houses do not have fences, so it is very easy to get to the entrances, and it is very easy for the inhabitants to meet one of these beings when they open their door. Reports and stories have become popular and have been grouping, now already classified with this name, since the previous decade. But some assure that the origin of this legend as we know it today is similar to the North American state of Texas in the year 1998 in a record related to supernatural events and ghosts. Reporter Brian Bettel wrote about cases in Abilene, Texas, and Portland, Oregon. However, the important thing was his personal experience. In that article, he explained the meeting inside his car with two children between 10 and 14 years old who asked him to take them to his house to collect some money. One of them, in addition, asked him to let him see the camera that the reporter was carrying in the passenger seat. Unaccepted, Vettel felt that something evil was hiding behind the appearance of those boys, that their mere presence was already a dangerous situation. Faced with the negativity of his requests, the boys began to get nervous and show the first signs of aggression. Brian was able to react in time. He turned on his car and accelerated. Perhaps none of this would have disturbed the journalist so much in the way he did it, if it were not for a special feature of those boys, their completely black eyes. After the publication of this meeting, the testimonies of people who had also had experiences with young people with the same characteristics began to proliferate, and all the testimonies presented common elements such as those that appear out of nowhere, as if they suddenly had the ability to materialize in a specific place. It is more common for them to manifest in pairs, although there are also testimonies of cases that manifest in solitude. Their appearances come surrounded by a supernatural aura, and those who suffer from it experience an instant fear. Opposing the requests is an increase in violence and the nervousness of the boys. Once the person leaves or can escape, the children disappear without leaving a trace. Of course, this type of apparition has given rise to multiple and varied interpretations between experts and investigators of the paranormal, even demonologists. They have been classified as evil spirits, demons, aliens, and even vampires for the fact that they need the permission of the person to enter a house or use a phone. In 2012, the production of a horror movie on the subject began. Despite the poor quality, the tape served to popularize the subject again, and more people added their reports of encounters in specialized internet forums. The director of the tape claimed that since he met her, he was always fascinated by the legend. Later, in 2013, an episode of the weekly Extraño de MSN presented an episode with reports of the black-eyed boys. The urban legend had already taken over the internet. In September last year, the British newspaper Daily Star published 3 first-rate stories about supposed sightings of these beings, stating that there was an alarming increase in cases around the world. Reports of these appearances are taken very seriously by some ghost hunters and researchers. In 2012, Brian Bettel recounted his story, this time in the television series Monsters and Mysteries of America. He insists that his experience is completely real. On March 17, 2008, I had my first and, I hope, only encounter with a beck. Before this experience, I had never heard of anything that had to do with a black-eyed boy. I was 12 years old. I was sitting outside a small beauty salon on a lonely street in our already quiet town. I was waiting in an old Chevy pickup truck for my mom to cut her hair. For the time being, probably. It was the last customer of the night. It had been about 15 minutes when I saw a child walking back and forth around the banquet, in front of where we were parked. First I thought I recognized him, thinking he was one of my schoolmates, so I knocked on the window to call his attention. When he turned around, I realized that it was no one I knew. By then I was not scared or anything like it. Not yet. The boy walked to my side and stood next to me, just watching me. I think he did it so that I could see his eyes clearly, to make me feel scared. Let me tell you, if you've never seen a boy with black eyes, you have no idea what it is. Absolutely black pupils, like the sky on a dark night. The boy murmured, "You have to go in." As soon as I heard that, I put the car door in the safe and I got into the space under the seats. 5 minutes later I didn't see him whine through the windows, he just left. When my mom came back, he told me that a boy with black eyes opened the door of the beauty salon and insisted that they give him the keys to the truck. She, of course, said no. Thank you.